everybody, my name is Narendra Kumar and we are from NRK Academy. Today we have got this wonderful, let's call it a kind of exploration together, more like we do in a circle, where people sit together around a circle. Though I'll be speaking, I'll be raising certain questions, and I think these are issues which are would be interesting to anybody in any profession, but mainly as the process of living, because there are fundamental, what I call psycho-philosophical issues. You can add academic also to that. There are fundamental psycho-philosophical issues. So the topic here is, I put it as points and we'll discuss it. Face core, basic psycho-philosophical issues. There are many psycho-philosophical issues common to those who really seek. Now, really seek means we are all seekers on some level or the other. I'm sure most of us have asked these questions, which I'm going to randomly list out. In the following, I'm randomly listing out this. So the first question which we all ask is, how can I and we, all of us, die? We just wonder about death, isn't it? There are so many beautiful songs in India. Zindagi kaisi hai paheli, Zindagi ka safar. Zindagi kaisi hai paheli is from by Kishore Kumar, in which he says, what kind of puzzle is life? And there's another song called Zindagi ka safar. Zindagi ka safar hai ye kaisa safar. You can feel the pain in his singing, in which he says, what kind of a journey is this life? कोई समझा नहीं, कोई जाना नहीं. Nobody understood, nobody realized, and that is true. Really, facing core psycho-philosophical issues means that how can I and we die? Definitely, there is nobody on earth who has not asked these questions. Let's go ahead. Just coming into being, that's a question. I'm continuing this question, expressing it. Just coming into being, like we're just born and going off after some 60, even less than to 80, 90 years. What for? We have asked this question. Okay, we live, we do all this, that. We live out our life. Of course, we naturally live out our life. We don't always ask this. But definitely this question is there for seekers. Sometimes somebody gives them the meaning and then they have to come out of that meaning. There are so many cults about that. Can we ask as individuals these questions? That is a whole attempt now. It's a very big attempt. This is just a small man, small human being trying to ask some small questions about more in a personal sense in NRK Academy. That's what we try to do. It's more about wonder. It's more about questioning. It seems too wondrous, isn't it? It's too wondrous sometimes. Like you can't know the answer. Like you're there and you're not there. This whole world, like a child, if you ask. Though it doesn't disturb you, but it seems too wondrous, and we are not able to accept it. We're not able to accept it. We can't say no. This I cannot accept it. It feels like like a child or a youth. And this is one theme. If you notice in Woody Allen movies, always this theme runs. It's as if he's obsessed with that fact and he can't accept it. And because he can't accept it, he can't accept it. It seems too wondrous, and we're not able to accept it. Why are we doing this then? Why this course? Why can't we just keep quiet? Because I feel that in a circle, if we share this, in the sharing and in the coming out into the light, all these questions could give us some kind of maybe a peace, or maybe nothing, but nothing wrong. It's more fun also. There's always fun in anything. It seems too wondrous and we are not able to accept it. This is usually called, in philosophical circles, it's called angst. The angst of living. Usually it comes under the philosophy of existentialism. Angst, A-N-G-S-T. That is like, what's the point of living? Life is meaningless and all that. And it is very common, not only in philosophical circles. Many people and when does this happen? It is very depressing, actually. It's very depressing thought. Impossible to accept that I will live for a while and I will be gone. It takes some time. It took me personally a long time, and then a time came and I got tired of the question, actually, frankly. And then I let it be. So let it be also sometimes helps, maybe. We are ridiculously not able to accept reality and life around also, even as ultimate truth. That's why these gurus come and say this is not really true. That confuses us more, All this around us is not true, Reality is not true. There is some other reality. There's some God and all that. I'm not going so much into religion right now, because religion also asks these questions. Religion has come from these questions and they're given some partial answers. This is what I believe. There must be something. And yet there is really only this. I mean, we know. As we go on, you will see in what situations these questions come. And we know it, but we cannot face this fact. We cannot. This has been at root. And at root, if you notice, at the root of it, the exploring of writers and mainly philosophers of what is the meaning, the whole spectrum. You take Eastern philosophy, you take Western philosophy, everybody seems to be giving you the answers, but the questions remain, right? Any guru cannot help you. Even gurus even say you have to find it yourself. Something like a Buddha who learned everything and then finally had to sit under a tree and find out everything. The spectrum. Atheism seems impossible to accept due to conditioning. Definitely there is a conditioning. This is a very important concept. Suppose you are born in a Christian family, you will be conditioned by the Christian beliefs. Suppose you are born in a Hindu family, you will be conditioned by the Hindu beliefs. Suppose you are born in a Muslim family, you will be conditioned by the Muslim beliefs, Sikh beliefs. There's a part in it which is very beautiful, which you can understand. The rituals, maybe the feeling, the music and all. But the conditioning is also about certain particular gods or some particular belief or some particular ritual. Could be the reason why there are so many wars also, because we get all fired up when people seemingly seem to criticize us or even criticize us directly. We get all agitated and get all passionate. We cannot deny that we are conditioned from childhood. We don't even know sometimes. And this was expressed very beautifully, according to me, by Will Durant in the Story of Philosophy, because he takes the philosophers as human beings and he explains and ponders on basic questions of philosophy. How? Through the angle, through the eyes of all the major philosophers who shaped our world, like Aristotle, Plato, Spinoza, Wittgenstein, Russell, Voltaire. He covers these philosophers, and you will see that the questions all are the same for all these philosophers. What is life? What is meaning? What does people? What is human nature? Why are we living? All that. But really, what is conditioning? It is only a belief, isn't it? Really. It is only a belief. It feels true and has a tinge of real belief. It's not like it is just a belief, like empty belief. Like if I say, this cell phone is my God, people will laugh. So it's not belief of that kind. If you say some God X doesn't exist, or your religion is stupid, anybody says, you get all agitated because the belief has a tinge of real belief and it's mixed with all your rituals, your coming up in your growing up and all that cultural feeling and all that. Like many deep intellectuals today are saying that is what is wrong with the modern world. We are not being empathetic to a person's belief systems. We are just imposing our beliefs on him. Even if it is rational, we are imposing it on him. Isn't that the issue all over the world? In a simple common sense way, everybody is saying, no, my country, my culture, because somebody is attacking their culture. Nobody can deny that there is conditioning. No matter how rational you say you are, there is conditioning on some level or the other. It is only a belief, isn't it? It feels true and has a tinge of real belief, undeniable, even when absurd. That is a strange thing, The strange thing about belief, really, let's face it, is that sometimes we come to a conclusion, this is not true. It can't be true, yet we kind of believe. See, there's once lady, not even about God. She said, people say that we should have more jewelry. One lady told me openly, because I was friends with her, and she said, I want more jewelry than others. I know it is stupid, but yet I feel it. So see, this feeling, belief is connected to feeling. Have you noticed? So this feeling, just because you're feeling doesn't mean it is really true. So you should check it, right? You should work it out. That is a problem. If you are told something from childhood repeatedly, and if most people around you also believe it, you tend to believe it too and even feel the same. That is what happens to most of the people around us. Why do people, when you meet them, let's suppose an American comes and he meets an Indian and he finds it so strange that Indians believe in caste. It's very strange to him. Simply because the American was not given the childhood conditioning and the Indians were given. If you tell Jesus doesn't exist and it is all this thing, maybe the American who has been brought up by Christian beliefs deeply would get angry, right? The point is that you feel, the word is feel certain it is true, though you know it is not. So there's a gap between what you know and what you feel. Is it faith? Can you call this faith? See, it's not just faith, right? It's not just blind faith. It's a feeling which has been conditioned into you. Or is it stubborn rationality or rationalism? Or what is it? What is that inside it? Sometimes you don't even know whether it is a feeling, because it seems like your being is asking that question, isn't it? What was the question which Buddha got inside? It is not conditioning, it is his own question, right? We don't know. Yet it is silly. Yeah, silly, because it is silly. If you look at the song Imagine by John Lennon, he says, above us there is only sky. And we know it is true. We know we were born, we have seen, if you have ever seen a cesarean operation, you can see the baby has come out there. But people say, no, God put that sperm, that there's an issue of abortion. See how much sentiment is associated with abortion. See how much anger you get. It is not rationality, it is belief, it is feeling. It is silly. It is silly because why should millions of people kill each other for their belief? They can leave it at that. People don't leave it at that because it is their foundation. It is silly and simple too. It is doubt. It is a doubt. Yet it is a profound issue also. See, that is the interesting thing. You might get a silly doubt, okay, but it's a silly. If you say, I'm going to die and I can't face it, everybody will say, come on, you are going to die. You have seen people dying. So many people have died all over the world. So it is a silly question, but it is a profound question. You will not be there, right? Then what's the point? Again, we come back to that. And these seem to be, at least to me, questions which have no answers, because the answers are there. It's more about maybe, tentatively I'm saying, more about facing the facts, that there are no answers, and that the answers which you know are really fact, the truth. Of course, reality is real. People deny reality also. We feel this also. Sometimes people deny reality also. That is what happens in psychotic cases, in neurotic cases. Somewhere people are living in an imagination. Fear is like that. A person who is fearful is not in reality. Suppose you come to meet me and I look at you and I'm fearful of you. It doesn't mean you are going to kill me. It is just my fear. It's just a feeling. That's what I'm trying to say. And the feeling is rooted in some conditioned belief. Like if I'm a woman, I'll say men are bad. Men who speak in a certain way are bad, maybe, or I have some past experiences. It has got nothing to do with you. It has got something to do with me. The feeling and the belief. We feel this also, and we are able to live out this truth. But the conditioning too follows. So do most people do. They give up. I think they give up. They simply live it out with a mix of not bothering much about these questions, though they bother them, and just live out that life. What else can they do also? It's very understandable. But there is a whole inclusive context. This is a quotation from a great philosopher. Whole inclusive context. Let us call it, I want to call it philopsychology or psychophilosophy. A person is understandable fully when you know everything about that person. So what's the meaning of everything about a person? His beliefs, his core nature. There is a person who has a core nature. What is a core nature? Simply we know. Think of your best friend. You know that person, what he is, right? That is his core nature, simply. And you know what he believes. Half of it might be absurd also. Not only about God and all that, about people, about politics or whatever. His beliefs you know. And his beliefs also slightly reflect that core nature, Sometimes they're in conflict with his nature. Quite a lot of times it's in harmony with his nature. And his real knowledge of the world. There's a real knowledge of the world also, especially if he's very educated and enlightened. And his outlook, suppose he's a great artist or a scientist, he will have his own understanding. That is also there. The mix is there. That is how you know a person. So what is it that one needs to know to clear one's confusions? Inside I feel we all know what is the solution to our problems. Really. Implicitly. It's called implicitly. Not in words, but intuitively, implicitly. We all know. We all almost feel like one person can come and just tell 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, over, your problems have ended. But we also know that these are not problems really. These are questions for which we have no answers. Or rather, which is demanding that we face a truth which we can't face. For whatever reason, conditioning or even by the nature of life. We have to face a truth which we can't face. Somewhere I read, when you come to an end, it is not about solving a problem. It is about facing the fact. So A is A. This is what I feel. We know the truth. What's the truth we know? We know the reality is real. We know all the things around is real. This world is real. Obviously, it's real. We also know that miracles are not possible. We know. We know suddenly this sun will not fall. We know that. We have a deep implicit scientific rationality. It is not really scientific. It's not physics, chemistry, maths. We know that there is a cause and effect. We know that there is this whole world will run by causes. People who know that are very highly enlightened. Who know it in words. In words we know. But We don't know in words. We know implicitly the world is real. Things have causes, that it is, there is a logic. See, logic doesn't mean a very deep thing. Logic means something will not, I mean, you can't say this is, my wall is a pink color and a green color. Obviously, it is pink color. So the base of logic is simply that what is. You see the great religions and philosophers, let's pause for a moment and see the core of it. The core, the bliss they talk about, the transcendent bliss they talk about, whether it's Christianity or any good philosopher or anybody, you will notice that implicitly, they're also implicitly, not fully explicitly maybe, but they are talking about facing. They always use this word, what is. Except God, they say. The God there is not, it's reality only, but they're not saying it that way, is what my common sense understanding of core truth in every good philosopher or good religion or good person is, who is very blissful and happy and free and peaceful, is that he has faced these wonderful fundamental questions that there is death, there is life is short. I've seen that. I've seen very ordinary people. You'll be surprised. Very, very ordinary people who don't have much knowledge also. I've seen this kind of wisdom there in them, in implicit form. But of course, they get very disturbed if you challenge them. They live in their own circle and their limitations. I agree. But within them, let's say, they live a profoundly beautiful life, happy life. I've seen that in gurus. I've seen that in musicians. They have found something. They don't know what name to give it. They are saying God, but what they are saying and actually saying and they know within, they always obviously feel it within, is a great feeling of bliss for which no justification is necessary. Are you getting me? So when you reach a state where you don't need to ask this question, maybe you have faced it. So it's like funny, right? Senses do give us evidence. We know that. That is the base. We can't deny that. We'll go mad. Knowledge is there of reality, and we won't go mad because we know. We don't have to even tell ourselves that we know. We know. That's what one of my philosopher friends says. It's a default state. Reality is real, and your life is important, and you have to live for your life as a default state. You don't have to live for your life. You will live for your life. You don't have to accept that reality is real, because reality is real. So then you have to grapple with all these philosophers and religions and issues and daily life, because all the issues which in your daily life which are coming, unless they're very routine, rely on these fundamental questions. Because any knowledge is based on fundamental questions. Suppose you go into physics, you will come to a point where these questions become. That's why we call PhD, Doctor of Philosophy, we say, because any question asked deep enough will lead you to this question. I don't think anybody in today's world have escaped these questions. They're all out. People are talking about it. Sadhguru and all these great gurus, great philosophers, existentialists, all are talking about the questions. They're not giving ready-made answers. Of course, there will be some systems of meditation, system of this, system of that. But what I'm trying to, or we are trying to explore is together, because even if somebody gives a system, how do you know? You have to be first-handed about it. In fact, we take reality, life and our natures for granted. That's what I'm trying to say. And it makes sense. Because there is no nothing. You have already come into this earth. As Joe Ponsat says, existentialist, like you're already on earth. Now do something about it. Everything is everything. And science in the modern world has given us that clarity, implicitly and basically, that you don't have to rely on foolish things. You don't have to believe in bullshit, really. But yet, angst of existentialism is natural, really. Now, when does this become more strong? In some situations of life, they become really strong. These questions start haunting you also, almost. It happens when somebody close dies, we suffer due to deaths or cheating. Cheating is almost like death or breakup. You love somebody deeply. You understood that person deeply. That person didn't understand that you understood, or really didn't love you back. Breakup, and you get like doubt. When you get doubt, you start thinking of fundamental questions, right? Or even our own doubts and questionings and conditionings. Obviously, beliefs are being challenged all around the place. That is a woke culture. Left is attacking right is attacking left. Hindus are attacking Muslims are attacking Christians, and the intellectuals are attacking common people. They keep calling common people idiotic. Are people idiotic? I don't know. We are all not clear. Nobody can be so super certain, right? So we are all vulnerable to being attacked, questioned, challenged. And then again we get into this angst of what is life? What are the basic questions, right? We are living in a certain world, yet in an uncertain world and in a context. That's a problem. Suppose everybody had faced, let's say long back, or maybe future. Let's think it's 3022. thousand years later, everybody has faced this fact. All these questions have come out. I believe that if we speak out, that's my belief only, that if we speak out, then all issues will be resolved. So if maybe a day will come where we'll accept, we don't have to kill, at least kill for these silly things. We can accept, because what happens is when the society becomes better, these questions also maybe will die down. One day we'll simply live like dogs without asking these questions also, because we're so happy. Sometimes we are so depressed and finding no real motivation, maybe to correct also these questions, we simply let life be. So that is why they say when you go to deep depression and deep pain, so limit of pain, finally these questions you let it. You have got so much of pain, you face the fact which you know to be true, and your belief dies. Only what you know to be true is there. Maybe this is the answer. Sometimes even that can help. See, as they say, your being kind of works for you. See, remember, your being will always work for you. It is not anti you. Your being means your body, your mind. It is very biocentric. For millions of years it evolved. By the way, everybody attacks evolution theory, science, technology also because of these beliefs. They say no, science can't be fully true. The reason is not because science is not fully true or not true. The reason is because these people are conditioned very deeply. Surely, and of course, if you don't have scientific mind, you will have beliefs. So it's like also an egg and chicken thing. Surely we have a lower self. Sometimes we are very educated. We have asked these questions. We have read a lot. So we have a person inside who is very educated. But there's also a lower self. What Scott Peck calls vestige of self. That lower self cannot accept all this modern knowledge. Gaps. In fact, that lower self is also very innocent, like a child. So what shit is all this belief? Let's all live together happily. That baby outlook is really always there. Even in politics, there is always an idealist philosophy. Really. They can't understand how people can deny reality, fight for such stupid things, and have utterly stupid beliefs. You ask children, they can't understand their mom and dad. See, the time has come for us moms and dads to become like child maybe. But it is not strong or based on knowing. And hence, most people simply adjust. Why we adjust to all the beliefs of the world is because, firstly, we are not strong. Secondly, we can't question so much. Nobody has allowed us to question so much, like how we are questioning right now. And we have no knowledge about all the great people who have talked about these issues. We don't know. We become too lonely, and when we're too lonely, we adjust. No, but there is a context. There is a context to it. A reason to all beliefs, and also error of these philosophers. Most of the philosophers are also human beings. They were human. They too were human only, taking it too seriously and depressing and denying life in reality, not able to think freely. Okay. Sorry. All these are facts, thoughts, feelings that arise in the mind. We can't deny those thoughts, feelings, never, because we are the world. Got it? As we grow up, we absorb all the beliefs of the world. We must know in words. This is what I believe personally. If you put it out in words, if you keep bringing it out, you'll find more and more clarity, because at the end, you have to only face facts, not denying them, obviously, because we are not able to solve this issue to our satisfaction. We feel atheism is impossible to solve. When I say atheism, I mean facing facts of the world, basic facts, like one day we'll die. It's just a short life. These are facts. And that bliss is the meaning of life. Life is very beautiful. We'll talk about it at the end. We take it too seriously. We get into depression. We deny life and reality also. Life and reality means like we deny inside. We get caught up inside. We are not able to think freely. We feel everybody is shaming us. We keep getting angry. They become our psychological syndromes. Deep within you look at a person. These are the syndromes which are bothering him. Nothing much is there. Nothing is there. That is why we like soap operas. Soap operas. We like, because all these feelings are shown beautifully there. And I believe it is good, healthily. It's healthy. That is why we go for movies. We go for some other stories. These are needs. Art is a need of man, because these are fundamental questions. So we are talking about a very deep issue. We're talking about psychological issues, we're talking about philosophical issues, we're talking about academic issues, we're talking about knowledge, we're talking about politics, we're talking about everything, because this is the fundamental issues. We also need to have full self-esteem to get that. This is also very important, because if you are a very strong person, you are a fighter, then you will question and you will maybe even enjoy these questions, like we are enjoying right now, I hope. But if you have a low self-esteem, you will start escaping or becoming afraid, So we must, I believe, let me give you some small little bit of advice which has slightly worked for me. Take it seriously. Take it seriously, but don't take it too seriously. There is no need to tell anybody anything. Don't tell all your problems to everybody. They might not understand it. It might cause more problems. Especially in the process, especially when you're in a certain process, be sure to whom you are confiding. Anyway, it's nobody's business. And remember, this is the issue. I'm putting it in dark. Simply no meaning in life because we are mortal. You cannot and should not correct it. It is my conditioned belief. This is what your belief is talking. There is no meaning in life because you're going to die. There must be some other meaning. I will not correct it. I cannot correct it. I should not correct it. And it is my belief. Don't ask me anything. Don't tell me anything. This is what it is saying. And you can't fight it. That is what I'm trying to say. You have to reach a point, however you do it, where you face it. Really, facts are facts. Resistance notwithstanding. Take it as a challenge. Take this as a challenge. Don't run away. Don't force yourself. Do not be afraid. Be first-handed, rational. You are quite okay. This is very okay. Everybody has these questions. They won't tell you outside. Don't be afraid. Take reality for granted. By the way, take reality for granted. Don't become too mystic, Go into some other zone or something. Take reality for granted. Reality is real only. Your life is real only. Don't be scared and angry about rejection from close people. Some people reject you because of your beliefs. Leave them. Or because you're questioning them. Leave them. Leave it. Don't leave them. Don't get angry. Because each has a context. Be mature. Don't be kiddish and angry. The time has come to be mature. That is actually maturity. One has a right to contextual absolutism, because your context is your context. It will not go away. What's the point of running away from it? So, in whatever stage you are, you have a right not to have to know everything and correct everything. How can you do that? I know what I know and what I need to know, even look further. If you have no shame, even then you'll be very light-hearted and happy. Start from your own context. Be unique and ask, what is the problem? Go from there. Don't compare. Never ever compare your being with another being or have any complex. Even if you're having any complex, accept it. You understand? Observe it. Even from great people or authority figures. Just because Sadhguru has said something or some big philosopher has said something doesn't mean a shit. Your issues will remain your issues. Your death depression, accept it. Meta depression because of basic issues is, I feel not only unnatural, they're very natural. I feel such a person is very profound, very deep guy or girl. It's a very wonderful thing. Think about it. Taking this issue seriously, but not too much. There are some other issues. There are some more issues now. Coming from that, there are judgmental issues. You get cut off from people. You lose trust. Trust people. But how? Trust people not blindly or too much. Trust people to look at people. Trust them to be exactly what fully they are. Then you will not be frightened of them. Actually, you will love them. I don't know people is an issue. Alienation is an issue. Negativity is an issue. Fanaticism is an issue. You can't help your fanaticism. That's a problem. If anybody talks against Christianity, you'll get angry because you are brought up with Christianity. What can you do? Moral stings, ding, 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 you're bad, 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 bad. You're hurt by moral judgment. But all these I feel are on the surface. Self-doubt. Am I right? Am I wrong? All this. Bring it all out like we did it right now. And this is just a small taste of it, because this is something you have to do it alone. Sometimes how we are with others is coming back to us. Yeah, suppose you are attacking somebody attacks you. It's a very funny thing which happens, because you don't give yourself, suppose you deny the rights of others, inside yourself you will deny the rights to yourself also. We are one that way. If you respect others, you will be respected by yourself, towards yourself. So you have to check that also. So happily give yourself all the space and time. In fact, take it as a lifetime activity. Do it alone. Happily observe everything. Enjoy every movie. Enjoy every song. Enjoy every person. Observe. Don't be too serious. Don't be too negative. Be a little balanced. Enjoy this whole process of journey. Watch within. Whether you are denying other people's context. Just to deny. Check it out. Reduce it. Or are you're being fearful? Reduce it. If you observe it, you'll get reduced automatically. Or if you watch, or you want them to be different, how can they be different? They will be what they are only. Okay. You can't deny what they are going to be that only. You're not able to face it, you have to face it. Face the fact that you're not facing it. Then you will face it, or some shit you will do. At the end, something you will face, isn't it? At the end, again I repeat, the third time I'm repeating, it is not about solving anything, it's about facing that which you are not able to face. Not keeping their context, don't do that, reduce that, but watch that you're doing all that. You are becoming alone because you know new things. See, suppose you're more educated, you have asked these questions more, obviously people around you will not even understand what you're talking. Most of the people will not even understand what is happening in this video. And though true, it is new. It's new for the world. Shaming and not free to think. People go on shaming you. You are this, you are this, you are this. Out of rationalism, silly guilt, etc., etc. So if I am mentally healthy, these two should become okay. I can face it. But these premises or truths, to be obvious, I must be mentally healthy. So there's a catch-22, Somewhere we need to break that jinx, that ice, You're caught up there. Conditionings are also feelings. We are terrified of being hypocritical also. We know we are lying. I know, I don't know. All that. Don't be too guilty. Don't be too serious. That's the only thing, because it's about facing only. It is conditioning. Don't run away also from your conditioning. Take your conditioning seriously. Do not underestimate conditionings. In fact, that's all I wanted to say in this whole video. Do not underestimate conditionings. I repeat, do not underestimate your conditionings, your feelings, your thoughts, your context. Thoughts and feelings are united together. They come together. Just be yourself. Means not act whatever you are thinking and feeling, but watch what you're thinking and feeling and face it. Face it. Accept it. Self-acceptance is, I feel, greater than self-esteem. But real truth is, but now let's be positive. What's the real truth? Life is short and life is really stupid all around. All these issues are also really stupid. They're just conditioning. Life basically and naturally, very well, you can see a child, be a child, naturally is very beautiful. Yet unserious, just a journey, and you are finished. Face it, nothing is there. So it is simply a problem. And we do face it. It's about a percentage maybe, 90 or 80 or 70 or 60. Bring it to 90. It's a fun thing. And face it and accept yourself. If you're not able to face it, accept it somehow, live your life and go. So you must love to love. This is the final, I would say, my personal message. Somewhere you must love to love. Love to know. And discover and want it, maybe. I don't know. So that's all. This is just a complete different kind of video. We just want to share all these issues on a very personal, on the soul level, on the personal level. I don't know, it might sound crazy to some people, it might be wonderful to some people. Whatever it is, this is our context in whatever little we know today in 2022 September. Thank you so much. I enjoyed sharing all this with you. It lightens my burdens also. We're all in this together. We're all human. We have all the really the same issues. The same conditioning in a different form. Take it seriously, but don't take it too seriously. Be happy. Thank you so much.